Good day everyone, this is Given and in this video we will tackle about the science and technology and nation building. So this lesson will discuss the influence of science and technology in the development of the Philippine society. It identifies government programs, projects, and policies geared toward boosting the science and technological capacity of the country. This lesson will also include the discussions on Philippine indigenous science and technology. Okay, so let's move on to the brief historical background of science and technology in the Philippines. The history of science and technology in the Philippines started way back before the country gained its independence from the American colonizer. Before the coming of the Spanish colonizers, the early inhabitants of the archipelago had their own culture and traditions. They had their own belief systems and indigenous knowledge system that keeps them organized and sustain their lives and communities for many years. So science in pre-Spanish Philippines is embedded in the way of life of the people. Scientific knowledge is observed in the way they plant their crops that provides them food, in taking care of animals to help them in their daily tasks and for food production. Science is observed in the way that they interpret the movements of heavenly bodies to predict seasons and climates, and in organizing days into months and years. They use science in preparing the soil for agricultural purposes, and like any other ancient cultures, they discovered the medicinal use of plants. So that was science in pre-Spanish in Philippines. So technology is used by people building houses, irrigations, and in developing tools that they can use in everyday life. They develop tools for planting, hunting, cooking, and fishing, for fighting their enemies during war or tribal conflicts, and for transportation both on land and on waterways. And also, they develop technologies in creating musical instruments. The different archaeological artifacts discovered in different parts of the country also prove that the Metal Age also had a significant influence on the lives of early Filipinos. The sophisticated designs of gold and silver and jewelry, ceramics, and metal tools prove that their technological ideas helped in the development of different tools. Also, trading with China, Indonesia, Japan, and other nearby countries have influenced their lives by providing different opportunities for cultural and technological exchange. So all these ancient practices in science and technology are considered now as indigenous science or folk science. So now let's proceed to the Spanish period. So when the Spaniards colonized the country, they brought with them their own culture and practices. They established schools for boys and girls and introduced the concept of subjects and disciplines. It was the beginning of formal science and technology in the country, known now as School of Science and Technology. So, learning of science in school focuses on understanding different concepts related to the human body, plants, animals, and heavenly bodies. Technology focuses on using and developing house tools used in everyday life. So, life during the Spanish era slowly became modernized, adapting some Western technology and their ways of life. The Filipinos developed ways to replicate the technology brought by the Spaniard using indigenous materials, and also medicine and advanced science were introduced in formal colleges and universities established by the Catholic orders. The galleon trade has brought additional technology and development in the Philippines. Although it is only beneficial for the Spaniards, these trades also allowed other ideas, crafts, tools, cultural practices, technology, and Western practices to reach the country. Some Filipino students who were able to study in Europe also contributed to the advancement of medicine, engineering, arts, music, and literature in the country. So the Philippines, being one of the centers of global trade in Southeast Asia during that time, was considered to be one of the most developed places in the region. Although the country is blessed with these developments, yung mga superstitious beliefs ng mga tao and yung mga Catholic doctrines at practices during the Spanish era halted the growth of science in the country. So now, the Americans have more influence in the development of science and technology in the Philippines compared to the Spaniards. So this is now the beginning of American period in Philippines. They established the public education system, improved the engineering works and the health conditions of the people. They also established a modern research university, the University of the Philippines, and created more public hospitals than the former colonial master. The mineral resources of the country were also explored and exploited during the American times. Dito na rin tayo nagkaroon ng transportation and yung communication system. Although hindi siya accessible throughout the country, pero masasabi natin na during American period, talagang nag-improve na yung transportation and communication system sa Pilipinas. And American also tried to Americanize the Philippines. They organized the learning of science and introduced it in public and private schools. In basic education, science education focuses on nature studies and science and sanitation until it became a subject formally known as science. And the teaching of science in higher education has also greatly improved and modernized. So, dito na na-start yung mga researchers na gumawa kung paano makontrol yung malaria, cholera, and tuberculosis, and other tropical diseases. So, yun, doon na nagsimula yung research kung paano ba makontrol yung mga tropical diseases na yun. And the desire of the Americans to develop the human resources of the Philippines to serve their own interests is somehow beneficial in the country. This also allowed American scholars to introduce new knowledge and technology in the country. So the Protestant church missions in different places in the country also brought hospitals and schools to far-flung areas. So yan, little by little, yung mga effort sa pag-build ng stronger foundation for science and technology in the country. Okay? So, institutions and public facilities were turned into ashes, houses were burned, and many lives were destroyed. This is the time na nangyari yung World War II. Yun. So, World War II has destabilized the development of the country in many ways. Like yun nga, institutions and public facilities were turned into ashes, houses were burned, and many lives were destroyed. So, ang nangyari, the country had a difficult time to rebuild itself from the ruins of the war. The human spirit to survive and to rebuild the country may be strong, but the capacity of the country to bring back what was destroyed was limited. The reparation plans focused on building some institutions and public facilities like schools, hospitals, and transportation systems. Okay? And the reparation money from Japan was also concentrated on building highways and in providing technological training and human resource development in the country. So since the establishment of the new republic, the whole nation has been focusing on using its limited resources in improving its science and technological capability. So it has explored the use of ODA or overseas development allocations from different countries to help the country improve its scientific productivity and technological capability. And human resource development is at the heart of these efforts, focusing on producing more engineers, scientists, technology experts, doctors, and other professionals in the country. So the development of science and technology in the Philippines, based on its brief history, is shaped by several factors and influence. Like in the history of science in other countries, it is always shaped by human and social activities, both internal and external. So in this figure, it is the influences in the development of science and technology in the Philippines. So as you can see, science and technology may have significant impact on the lives of the people and in the development of the Philippine society. However, improving the quality of science education still remains as a big challenge in the country. School science from basic education to graduate education is improving slowly and there are only few students enrolling in science and technology courses. And now let's move on to the government policies on science and technology. The Philippine government introduced and implemented several programs, projects, and policies to boost the area of science and technology. So the goal is to prepare the whole country and its people to meet the demands of a technological driven world and capacitate the people to live in a world driven by science. The Padilla Concepcion 2015 reported that in 2015, in response to the ASEAN 2015 agenda, the government, particularly the Department of Science and Technology, or yung tinatawag na DOST, has sought the expertise of the National Research Council of the Philippines (NCRP) to consult various sectors in the society to study how the Philippines can prepare itself in meeting the ASEAN 2015 goals. So, as a result of the consultation, the NCRP is expected to recommend policies and programs that will improve the competitiveness of the Philippines in the ASEAN region. Okay? So, the NCRP clustered these policies into four, namely: number one, social science, humanities, education, international policies, and governance. So, it includes integrating ASEAN awareness in basic education without adding to the curriculum, emphasizing teaching in the mother tongue, and also developing school infrastructure and providing for ICT broadband. And last is the local food security. So the second policy is the physics, engineering, and industrial research, earth and space sciences, and mathematics. So it's emphasizing the degrees, licenses, and employment opportunities, outright grants for peer monitoring, review of RA 9184, and harnessing science and technology as an independent mover of development. And then the third policy is the medical, chemical, and pharmaceutical sciences. It is ensuring compliance of drug manufacturing firms with ASEAN harmonized standards by full implementation of the Food and Drug Administration. It is creating also an education council dedicated to standardization of pharmaceutical services and care, empowering food and drug agencies to conduct evidence-based research as pool of information, allocating 2% of the GDP to research, and legislating a law supporting human genome projects. So that is the under of medical, chemical, and pharmaceutical sciences. And then the last policy is the biological sciences, agricultural, and forestry. So it includes the protecting and conserving biodiversity by full implementation of existing laws, use of biosafety and standard model by ASEAN countries, promoting indigenous knowledge systems and indigenous peoples conservation, formulation of common food and safety standards. So these are the other existing programs supported by the Philippine government through the DOST. So providing funds for basic research and patents related to science and technology. The government funds basic and applied researches. Funding of this research and projects are also from the overseas development aid from different countries. Second is providing scholarship for undergraduate and graduate studies of students in the field of science and technology. So Saloma 2015 pointed out that the country needs to produce more doctoral graduates in the field of science and technology and produce more research in these fields, including engineering. So that is according to Saloma. The third one is the establishing more branches of the Philippine Science High School system for training young Filipinos in the field of science and technology. Fourth, creating science and technology parks to encourage academe and industry partnerships. Also, the Balik Scientist program. It is a goal to encourage Filipino scientists abroad to come home and work in the Philippines or conduct research and projects in collaboration with Philippines-based scientists. So developing science and technology parks, academic campuses, the goal is to encourage academe and industry partnerships. The establishment of the National Science Complex and National Engineering Complex within the University of the Philippines campus in Diliman. So that is also the existing program supported by Philippine government through the DOST. They also aim to produce more researchers in this field. So the Philippine American Academy of Science and Engineering, PAASE 2008 Capacity Building Programs. So PAASE identified the several capacity building programs such as establishment of national centers of excellence, manpower and institutional development programs such as the Engineering and Science Education Program or ESEP to produce more PhD graduates in science and engineering, establishment of regional centers to support specific industries that will lead the country in different research and development areas, establishment of science and technology business centers to assist, advise, and incubate technopreneurship ventures, and to strengthen science education and at an early stage through the Philippine Science High School system. So in the field of education, several science-related programs and projects were created to develop the scientific literacy of the country. So special science classes were organized and special science elementary schools were established in different regions. Aside from these, science and mathematics in basic education were continuously improved. The current K-12 education program included science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or yung tinatawag na STEM, is one of its major tracks in the senior high school program to encourage more students to enroll in science-related fields in college. Okay. So the Philippine Congress has also created various laws related to science and technology. And aside from that, the Philippine Congress has also created various laws related to science and technology. So these laws serves as a legal framework for science and technology in the country. These laws vary according to different themes such as conservation, health-related, technology building, and supporting basic research, among others. Some laws and policies in line with international treaties such as the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organizations, or yung UNESCO, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and other international agencies. So the Philippines Congress has also created various laws to science and technology. So school science is filled with names of foreign scientists Einstein, Galileo Galilei, Newton, Faraday, Darwin, and many other Western scientists. We usually we rarely hear of Filipino scientists being discussed in science classes, right? Like Li Chua, 2000, identified 10 outstanding Filipino scientists who have made significant contributions in Philippine science. So these scientists are also famous abroad, especially in different science disciplines like agriculture, mathematics, physics, medicine, marine science, chemistry, engineering, and biology. So the first Filipino scientist is Ramon Cabanos Barbara. He is known for his outstanding research on tissue culture in the Philippine mangoes. Second is si Josefino Cacas Comiso for his works on observing the characteristics of Antarctica by using satellite images. So Jose Behar Cruz Jr. He is known internationally in the field of electrical engineering, was elected as officer of the famous Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering. So next is Lourdes Jansuy Cruz. She is notable for her research on sea snail venom. Next is Fabian Millar Dairit for his research on herbal medicine. Rafael de Nerus Guerrero III for his research on tilapia culture. Enrique Mapua Estrella Jr. invented the metonium drug testing. Lilian Formalejo Patena for doing research on plant biotechnology, and Marijo Panganiban Ruiz for being an outstanding educator and graph theorist, Gregory Ligot Tangonan for his research in the field of communications technology. So those are the 10 Filipino scientists who were known for their inventions not only in Philippines but also international. Okay? So there are outstanding Filipino scientists also who are recognized here and abroad for their outstanding contributions in science, like Cesar A. Saloma. He is an internationally renowned physicist. Edgardo Gomez, William Padolina, chemistry and president of National Academy of Science and Technology, Philippines, and Angel Alcala. She is known in the marine science. Okay? So kahit na ganito na may marami na ring mga scientists na Filipino scientists dito sa ating bansa, of course, Philippines still needs scientists, more scientists and engineers, and there is a need to support scientific research in the country. So many of these Filipino scientists are products of good school science. It means that they were taught and inspired by great teachers. So their interest in science started to manifest during their childhood years. Their natural environment ignited their curiosity to learn more about the natural and physical environment. So schools and the laboratories where they studied and worked nurtured this. And finally, the demands of globalization, especially the ASEAN economic agenda, prompted the Philippines to invest in science and technology programs and projects. So that's all, and thank you.